Just off the coast of Malta lies the beautiful island of Gozo, a smaller, quieter island, but one with character all of its own. Fewer crowds, slower pace, and landscapes steeped in history and faith. Gozo may be a small island, but today I will take us on a journey through centuries of belief and worship. In today's video, I'll take you to two of the most remarkable sites of pilgrimage. First, the hill where the Stations of the Cross lead pilgrims step by step through Christ's passion, rising all the way through the crucifixion and resurrection at the summit. Then, across the valley, we'll visit the Basilica of Pinu, Malta's national shrine, a place of miracles and answered prayers, where generations have come seeking healing, hope and inspiration. Two places, one story of devotion, sacrifice and the search for meaning. Come with me, because on Gozo, faith isn't hidden in the past, it's alive in the very landscape.
Okay, I'm not chasing Maltese cart tracks. I am, in theory, heading up to the top of this hill where there's a religious monument. When they say things sometimes are off the beaten track, this could be one of them. My GPS was saying, oh yeah, bring the car up here. I could barely get up here on foot. So let's see, maybe by the time I get up there, we'll have an answer to what is up here. But it looked quite interesting when I looked it up on Google Maps. I hope I'm not going to regret this. I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere. I parked my car down there somewhere. This looks like it recently flooded. We had some pretty heavy rain here in Malta yesterday, actually. So this looks all very muddy from yesterday. Great dirt track if you're got like a dirt bike or something. But let's see if we can get up here. Beautiful scenery, isn't it? Really beautiful. Not a bad place to visit, not a bad place to live if you're lucky enough to live here. Wow, can't really go wrong. Oh, there's a tractor chasing me now. I hope not. I took the wrong way. There's a sign that said no entry. But I thought, you know, I was doing a pilgrimage in a way, the same way that this man did. Well, not did a pilgrimage, gave his life for us. And those that have come after him have done many pilgrimages to basically say thank you to Jesus. So in theory, we continue up this way. I seem to be back on a normal track now-ish. You can call this normal, but it's certainly a bit more normal than the mudslide I just had back there. But as you can see, it's a steep hill to the top, and I think the reason it's here, it's symbolic of the hill that Jesus had to lug his cross up the top. So a lot of religious symbolism on this island, obviously, proven by the Knights of Malta, who basically gave it all, their all, to resist the Ottomans, the tyranny of Islam. They said no. And in the same way, the Romans were saying, reject your God. He didn't give up. He didn't give up at all. He was put under torture, made to suffer, all for us. And look at this. Wow, I think we're going to be going there next. Look at how beautiful that is. That is phenomenally beautiful. Wow, let's turn that around. We're just getting to the peak here, and we get to have these magnificent views of all of Malta, well, all of Gozo. The lighthouse, obviously off there in the distance, and this is where we're aiming to go. This is almost like this part has been created as a story of the crucifixion, and it goes on, and then I can see up in the distance the crucifixion coming to life. Awful, but at the same time inspiring to billions of people those past, those present, and those still to come. It will still inspire. Certainly more inspiring than a prophet who killed people. Jesus never killed anyone. Certainly more inspiring than a prophet that took multiple wives. Jesus never took multiple wives. Certainly more inspiring than a prophet that basically told you to lie. Jesus never told you to lie. You can just feel the agony as the nail goes down and onto him. But look at these terraced. What a view. What a view. And then here we are, just up here. Maybe it's better I don't, so I don't ruin this moment.
Here on the hill in Gozo, the story of Christ's passion is brought to life. Step by step, pilgrims climb the stations of the cross, each statue marking a moment of his final journey. The path winds upwards, a physical and spiritual ascent, from the weight of the cross to the crucifixion itself, and ultimately to the resurrection at the summit. For the faithful, this is more than just a long walk, stone and bronze. It is a reminder of Jesus, not only the suffering servant, but also the king who triumphed over death.
I think there's a high probability, if I'd started at the correct place rather than maybe where the church is, we would have seen the entire story of the crucifixion, from him being captured, pointed out by the Jews, because this is 12. I think we joined it at, did we join at 6? Maybe we joined at 6. This is probably where he was laid to rest. Well, this is in terms of, this is not where he was laid to rest. This is where they've built as a shrine to him. Rolling back the stone.
The story speaks of sacrifice, justice, mercy, and hope. Themes that reach far beyond Christianity and remain relevant to every generation, every culture, every corner of the world. Even for those who don't share the faith, there is a quiet power here, in the silence broken only by footsteps, wind, and prayer. And as we will reach the top very soon, where the resurrection looks out over the island, the view reminds us that the search for meaning, for truth, and for something greater than ourselves is written into the very landscapes of Gozo, and perhaps into the heart of all humanity.
And this, obviously, the highest point, well, almost the highest point, because we're going to head just over here in front of us. Jesus has risen. Let me just jump down. Got a few wild dogs around here, or just people walking their dogs, I can't tell. No, they've got collars on, and they're getting cold. But this is what I saw, and this is what impressed me to want to go to this and visit this. Look at this.
At the very top of the hill, I find myself in a vast open-air auditorium, a space built for sermons, gatherings, and reflection. From here, the island stretches out in every direction, but it's this place, this altar beneath the sky, that draws the eye. Down the hill stands 14 white marble statues, each one marking a station of the cross, leading pilgrims step by step through Christ's passion. They climb with the faithful until they reach this point, where the story ends not in despair, but in resurrection and hope. And here, this is where voices, I can only presume, rise in prayer and sermons echo across the valley. I can't help but wonder, as the wandering Englishman, how many lives have been moved on this hill? How many have found inspiration, comfort, or a spark of faith that has stayed with them long after they descended? This place isn't just stone and sculpture, it's a stage for the human search for meaning, lived out again and again. And I take my hat off to this place, because it is remarkable, so simple, but yet so beautiful and so touching.
Now, how is this a place to give a sermon? We have the Maltese cross here, right at the altar. And it actually projects one's voice. So those are stuck listening to me and there's no one here. That is impressive acoustics. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
When you travel as much as I do, you end up with a bag full of pointless adapters. Europe, America, Australasia, every destination seems to demand a different plug. And honestly, it's a waste of space and a waste of time. That's why this little cube makes life so much easier. Today's video is sponsored by this little cube. It's one adapter, 4 settings, over 150 countries covered. Instead of rummaging through a pouch of outdated plastic, I slide, plug in, and I'm ready. It's compact, reliable, and it means I can focus on the journey, not the nonsense of whether my charger will fit. For me, this isn't just convenient, it's essential. The link is in the description below. Do check it out. Now back to the video.
So we made it down and we're here at the Basilica of Virgin of St. Pinu. We're going to go in, we're going to go check it out. This is where John Paul II was, Pope Benedict was, many popes before him, even Pope Francis. So we're going to go in, go check it out.
Now I stand inside the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Blessed Virgin of Pinu. Its towers rose outside as a signal across Gozo's horizon. This is more than a grand church, it's a site born out of divine encounter, built out of faith and entrusted with countless stories of prayer and healing. A miracle that changed everything happened here. On the 22nd of June 1883, a humble woman from Garb named Carmeni Glima heard a voice calling her from within the old chapel. Within that chapel, she was told to recite 3 Hail Marys in honor of the 3 days the Virgin's body lay in the tomb. Carmeni later fell ill, unable to return for a year, and when she spoke of the experience, others like her friend Francisco Portelli reported hearing similar voices. Moreover, shortly afterwards, Portelli's mother was miraculously healed, a turning point that spread belief in Pinu's powers and paved the way for pilgrimages from around the world. From those small beginnings, the chapel grew its reputation. By 1920, the decision had been made to build a larger sanctuary. In August 1932, it was consecrated, and in 1935, the image of Our Lady Pinu was formally crowned by papal decree, elevating the site's stature. Inside this basilica, one finds ex-offerings lining the walls, crutches, letters of thanks, photos, small tokens, each one a belief of healing and hope. Pilgrims come not just to see a beautiful church, but to leave their prayers, their stories, their longings. Standing here, I wondered how many have arrived broken and left bearing hope. How many have knelt before the altar, looking for something they could not name, and how many in their hearts felt they'd met something holy. In this basilica, the sacred and the human coverage here, devotion becomes structure, stories become stone, and belief becomes a weight that we can almost touch.
Well, there was a service going on right at the front, so I thought I'd just sort of sneak in a little bit just to get a better look, but I didn't want to push too far, just out of respect. Really isolated location when it comes to this island. We've got these murals, these beautiful, in a way they look kind of Byzantine murals. This is a 16th century church, you've got to remember. It's the 16th century, inspired basically just after the siege of Malta. They decided they're going to build this, honouring Jesus, honouring, well, you can see Jesus represented everywhere here. A monumental spot. They say that a lady heard someone tell her to say Hail Marys. There's been many voices heard in church, but people hear a lot of voices. Maybe it's true. Maybe Mary or someone tapped that lady on the shoulder and said, say your Hail Marys. Anything's possible. But it's a really, really peaceful place. What I find is where all the tourist buses drop people off. I'm sorry about my voice. My voice is terrible right now. It's due to the lack of proper hydration over the last 6 days due to my illness. I look sickly, don't I? I look very sickly. Maybe one of these miracles can cure me. So I'm going to head onwards, see what else we see before the busload of tourists. Lock my car in. Oh yeah, if you're thinking about ways to see Gozo, of course you can do the hop-on, hop-off bus. There's a link in the description. There's one over here. Actually, let me just turn it around. There's the hop-on, hop-off bus over there. You can get taxis. A taxi is one way to get around. You get minibuses also. Looks like these ladies over here have got a minibus around the island. Private tour minibus. Or, like myself, you could rent yourself a car. Now obviously, cars not for everyone. I got an incredibly good deal. Gabrielle Traveller, I'd watched one of your videos actually this morning when you were actually wandering around the lines, and you were here a year ago. I think you spent like something like 60 euros a day on a car. Well, this cost me 60 euros for 11 days. 60. I'm sure they're going to sting me because the first day I had to return the car. Second day, my car buggered up on the ferry. I had to get jump started. It's a really nice car inside, but it's got an ignition problem. Today, they had to come out and start the car for me, so who knows how many bills I'm going to have. I'll let you know how much this car has cost me in total. It cost this much in total for the entire trip. One of the benefits of getting a 62 euro for 11 days car, you can come down one of these random dirt tracks and park up and look at this. This is the sunset choice. Wow. Sun's going to go down there. West. Wow. Look at these amazing cliffs. It's so quiet. It's so quiet.
As the sun begins to set over Gozo's west coast, the cliffs fall into shadow and the sea swallows the light. The land has been here for far longer than the stories we tell about it, older than the temples, older than the faiths, older than any memory. However, that doesn't make one story more powerful than the other. It simply reminds us that belief and nature stand side by side, each carrying its own truth. Alan Watts once said that life is not a journey with a fixed destination, it's more like a piece of music or a dance. You don't play a symphony to get to the last note, just as you don't dance only to reach the end of the floor. You live it, you move with it, and the meaning is the rhythm itself. Perhaps sunsets teach us the same lessons. Each one is unique, unrepeatable, and yet we do not mourn their passing, we simply watch, we marvel, we let them go. Maybe our paths are the same, we don't need to know exactly where we're going. If we walk with soul and heart, the path itself becomes enough. Here on Gozo, pilgrims climb the hill, the faithful pray at Pinu, and yet these cliffs and seas require no temple, no altar. They are their own sermon, their own shrine, and all they ask of us is to be present, to stand in awe just once before the light fades. There is still more of Malta that I hope to share with you. More stories, more places, more mysteries. But like the sun and the sea, these things take time. I try to live them, I try to film them, I shape them slowly, and these edits can't be rushed. So as the day slips into dusk, I wonder, perhaps the greatest wisdom is not in chasing after meaning, but in realizing that meaning is already here. In the sound of the waves, the colour of the sky, and the simple act of being alive to witness it.
Sunset, so I could probably take my shades off. Actually, I'm a big fan of the hotel I'm staying in. It's just across from this park I'm in. And if we can ignore the music for a moment. The problem with music, and I have to cut gaps, it causes copyright problems. What's more enjoyable is their music, the sound of these beautiful birds. This is a chorus of parrots. They're going mental. They are literally coming in for the night. Beautiful parrots, probably going to get shit on my head. But if I'm lucky, I won't. So they're all coming in. It's phenomenal. I'll twizzle the camera around so you can see them. You see them? Isn't that better than any music? The sound of the birds at dusk, literally coming home to roost. Isn't that magnificent? We got finches, we got a little bit of parrots, we got everything. They're all like meeting here. It's like a bird meeting place right next to my hotel. Hotel is just here. I have to say, I feel very lucky to get to hear these birds. I don't hear them when I'm sleeping, but I am hearing them now. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Glad you guys came home to roost.